Hey guys, this is Dinosaur Drawer, and today I'm gonna show you guys how to draw another indoraptor. This drawing was requested by Captain Lego Star Wars, and his request was simply to draw it standing on his two hind legs. So, yep. Alright. So first I'm gonna use this one again, this pencil. It's a, I think it's a 1.0 millimeter tip, kind of graphite pencil. And after that I'll be using a 0.5 millimeter tip so that I can get some darker lines in it. Excuse me. Alright, so again, we want to place our dinosaur right. I'm gonna draw it again with him facing this way. So yeah, we wanna place it right on the paper. So I'm gonna draw his hip about over here. So I'm just gonna draw a circle for his hip. His hip would be just as large as his kind of rib cage. And actually, we should draw his rib cage more like this. And his hip more like this. So yeah, this is going to be his back. And let's just draw in the line where his tail will go. He has very powerful muscles. And the tip of his tail isn't completely isn't really pointy at all. It's just it's not a very sharp point. I'm just placing something underneath my table because the camera is kind of shaking, and these very thin lines are going to be hard to actually see properly. Alright, so I want it to stand on his two hind legs. So what I'm gonna do is pay attention to his kind of anatomy. So this would be his hip, so over here would be his bone actually would be attached kind of. Let's draw his hip a little bit higher, like right over there, and then part of his back still goes over it. So alright. His knee is way below his body. This part is very short actually. He has very strange looking legs, kind of. We'd almost say that this bone is longer than this one. So now center of gravity would be over here, so I wanted to lean, well actually it's over here. I wanted to lean back a little bit more because he has very long arms. Alright, so now let's get the muscle in. Very long hind leg, and this is all very muscular as well. And then his foot would be over here. At least one of his feet would be over there. And let's say he's actually kind of standing in a pose like this. So we're gonna draw the other leg in like this. This is supposed to be a little bit longer, and this is supposed to be a little bit more like this, more angled down, I guess. Maybe, let's see, where's my eraser? So I'm really just trying to sketch it out first, to kind of get everything looking properly, before I'm going to get into more of everything else. Very long hind legs. Well, at least his thigh bone is very long, and this bone is just as long as this one. So here would be his foot. Yeah, I kind of made this kind of ankle bone a little bit too long. I'll just call it the ankle bone. It's supposed to be a little, just as long as this one actually, and don't go any longer than that, otherwise it will just look inaccurate. So this is supposed to be a little bit thicker over there. So we are drawing him in kind of an angle. So that means that part of his foot you won't be able to see. Yeah, that's just, his chest would be over here. His arm goes kind of like this, and his elbow is just below his chest. Then it goes like this, and it goes like this. His very long arms, and you would be able to see part of his other arm and chest over there, kind of like this, and just kind of do the same thing, and you would actually be able to see the third claw. So I might go back later on and redo his legs, because I think his claws are a little bit close to the ground, although I believe it's a good thing that they are pretty close to the ground, because they are very long. He has very long arms. He does have feathers on them, and his arms actually aren't very thick at all. They look very slender, to be honest, compared to a lot of dinosaur arms, kind of. So now we're gonna do the same thing. Over here would be his wrist, so we're gonna draw a line like that. And how many? 1, 2, 3, 3 parts in his fingers. So 1, 2, 3, and then there would be a nail attached to that. So we're gonna draw in the nail, the claw actually. That's the proper way to pronounce it. 1, 2, 3, and then the other one goes like that. 1, 2, 3, and this one's also a little bit shorter, I guess. Just a tiny bit shorter. It's like his pinky, and then a claw attached to it again, and then the padding underneath his his hand, you might actually be able to see this one as well. 1, 2, 3. This one is the shortest, sorry, but you won't really be able to see much of it. So that's one hand done. Now the other one. Let's just kind of get this part right. His chest area, very slender looking arms. So yeah, you need to get the anatomy right before you're gonna draw in the shapes of the arms. Alright, again, so this is gonna be you can kind of see two fingers very close to each other, and then a third one going like this. You can't really see that one. So let's actually start with this one. 1, 2, 3, and a claw. A little bit longer. 1, 2, 3. Kind of see something like that going on there. And then this part just disappears behind the other arm. And then 1, 2, 3, and a claw again. And then draw the padding underneath it. And well, I wouldn't say that you would be able to see that one, so we'll just draw that one. Well, let's just draw it a little bit different, maybe a little bit of a different angle, because I'm not really happy with the way it looks right now. I want his whole arm to be at a different angle, I guess. So let's just first get this in properly again before we're gonna mess everything up. And it's still not right. That looks a little bit better. So yeah, this arm goes kind of like this. And it's angled a little bit more out than the way that we drew it before. And then his wrist would be over there. And then it goes kind of like 1, 2, 3. Claw. The other one would be kind of behind this one. 1, 2, 3. Claw. And then the last one would be over here. So it's kind of a different kind of, it's more pointed outwards. You might see it like that. 2, 3. Right, so my opinion is that it looks a tiny little bit better, I guess. Maybe it could be going a little bit more like this, I guess. So I'm sorry for erasing so many times, but I just want to have it look right. I don't want things to look kind of awkward or anything. Alright, so that looks kind of a little bit better. Alright. And so yeah, now it's time to try and draw in his neck, He does have a very long neck, but it's not too long. Let's see, it kind of goes like this. Just like that of a velociraptor, I guess. And this part just kind of continues on into his neck. And then his head would be attached to it like this. His head might actually be a little bit too large. So let's just draw it a little bit more at a steeper angle. And this might be a little bit better. So again, this is why you don't press down too hard on your pencil. We could draw it with his mouth opened if we wanted. Alright, so now I'm gonna need a different kind of reference photo to get his head looking right. Well, let's erase most of his head, so we still have the basic shapes and stuff. He has a very slender looking lower jaw. And this just kind of attaches to it. His upper jaw kind of, the top of his head actually kind of goes like, well, let's first finish his lower jaw a little. Kind of goes like this, but I'm not really too sure about the way that I drew it. So then let's just start with a circle for the back of his head, and then just kind of draw it from this circle. And let's say it's kind of in an angle, so you kind of would be able to see this part of his mouth, I guess. And that's also why this is a little bit shaped like this. And this is a little bit higher up. Something like an iris over there, and it just kind of goes like this. So I'm not sure if I drew it accurately. His nose would be over there somewhere. So yeah, again, I'm not really sure if I drew it in completely accurate. Maybe his neck is just a tiny bit too long, but we will try to go with this. And actually, this is supposed to be at a, it's supposed to be just a tiny little bit different. Something like that. Alright, so for now the only thing that we're still really missing is the teeth and his eye. So what I first want to do is darken in everything a little bit and make it look a little bit cleaner. And I'm not gonna do too much of his neck because there are a lot of shapes on his neck. First, I do want to actually get a little bit more into his feet. So this one is kind of angled towards us. Like that. And kind of goes the same for this one, but this foot is kind of a bit well, let's say you can only see this one, but first we have to draw in this huge claw right here that is coming toward us. A little bit too big. So that's actually the only real thing you see from this foot, and also what you see is this claw right here. And then you also see his toe on that side, but you don't see the toe behind it because it's, like I said, it's behind it. So the angle where I drew the feet in might look a little bit strange. What you do see, by the way, from this part is a little bit of his toe and then this huge nail, this huge claw. Which goes like that. Alright. So yeah, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna do what I just said, what I just explained. I'm gonna darken in everything, make it look a little bit cleaner and erase the lines that we don't need anymore. So I'll be back. Alright guys, I'm back. So first I just wanna get the eye in. So like that, and you can just get your own kind of pupil in there if you want. And now we're gonna actually try and get the teeth in quite right. So I'm not sure how his teeth go, but I do know that it's just like the Indominus Rex. His teeth are kind of attached to the outside of his jaw, and which make it look kind of very very nasty and very aggressive, very scary and stuff. So I'm not really sure how his teeth go, but I'm just gonna draw them in very small, because I know that from close up his teeth look very large and all, but when you get farther away, I believe his teeth start looking a lot smaller. And not all of them are actually attached to the outside of his mouth, just a couple of them. Alright, let's now get his nostril in a bit clearer. And erase a little bit of it. So yeah, at this point you might want to say that your drawing is kind of finished. Mine isn't though, but if you want to stop watching here and be finished with the drawing, the only thing you still have to do is add a couple of those feathers here at this area and at the back of his hip, kind of, and then and also a couple of feathers on his arm, and then you could say that your drawing is finished. But I'm gonna make a second part, so if you wanna keep drawing it, if you wanna finish it off, just watch the second part. So if you liked the video, leave a like, comment below what you think about the video and the drawing in general, and don't forget to subscribe. So this was Dinosaur Drawer, and goodbye.